بدك تصيري زيه ان شاء الله لما تكبري. كلهم كلهم طيب.
What is that? I'm sorry. I did a video today looking at whether Jeremy Corbyn, who is the leader of the UK Labour Party, is anti-Semitic or why he is accused of being anti-Semitic anyway. My view on it, in short, is it's not clear whether he as a guy is anti-Semitic or not, but he's definitely hung out with massively anti-Semitic people. I don't think that that necessarily means he's anti-Semitic, but it definitely does suggest that he's far too tolerant of people whose views are absolutely horrific, especially with regards to Jews. But many of these groups are radical Islamist groups, and their views are abhorrent not only with regard to Jews like myself, but also as like in terms of how they view gay people, and some of them how they view Christians or other ethnic minorities, women and so on. So it's more complicated than just hanging out with groups who hate Jews, but a lot of them are specifically anti-Jewish because he's hung out with them in the context of the Israel-Palestine dispute. So there's a lot of noise about this. Loads of people are coming out and saying it's definitely not anti-Semitic, it's a massive smear campaign. And I think those people, first of all, a lot of them are just apologists for radical Islamist anti-Semitism or other forms of anti-Semitism. But a lot of them just don't understand what it is he's accused of doing, because they're so used to hearing these Islamist groups discussed as if they're legitimate political agents that they can't get their head around the fact that to people who are outside of that left-wing bubble, these groups are completely beyond the pale. So to give you one example of that, I'm going to pull some of these up on the screen. Hamas. So Hamas is a terrorist group. Well, it's a political group, but its aims are essentially terroristic. It's been defined as a terrorist group by the British government, I think. And their views on Jews are absolutely so, well, they're not absolutely clear on it, but essentially it's very clear that they're deeply, deeply anti-Semitic. And you can see some of the stuff they put out. I'm going to show you videos of it. It's so amazingly anti-Semitic. It literally looks like you're watching Nazi propaganda. Jeremy Corbyn invited this group. He's met with this group. Not only has he met with them, he called them his friends. And he wasn't just saying friends in a really kind of throwaway way. I'll show you a video of him saying it. It's not good. And so this is one of the reasons people have called him anti-Semitic. Here's a video of him describing Hamas and Hezbollah, who are another Islamist group, as his friends.
So thank you everyone for being here tonight. And say that tomorrow evening it will be my pleasure and my honour to host an event in Parliament where our friends from Hezbollah will be speaking. I'd also invited friends from Hamas to come and speak as well. Unfortunately, the Israelis would not allow them to travel here, so it's going to be only friends from Hezbollah. So far as I'm concerned, that is absolutely the right function of using parliamentary facilities.
There we go. So that's him referring to Hamas as friends. So who are Hamas? So let's see what it says in their charter about Jews. It says got a bunch of anti-Semitic canards in the charter, whatever canards means. For example, it talks about how Jews with their money took control of the world media, news agencies, the press, publishing houses, blah, 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 how they're behind revolutions, sabotage societies. Unbelievably anti-Semitic, but it's not only that they say. They've got another bunch of unbelievably anti-Semitic things that they do. So, for example, here is a video put out by Hamas in which they have young kids discussing murdering Jews. So these are the people who Jeremy Corbyn called his friends and then went on to whine about Israel after he introduced them as his friends. I'm not making this up. This is an actual video of kids on a TV show put out by Hamas talking about shooting Jews. Here we go, enjoy. What is that? I'm sorry. It's just absolutely ridiculous that they would put out a video like that, and not only that they put it out, but that they would be met with Jeremy Corbyn, who's now leader of the Labour Party, and he would refer to them as his friends. So when people say it's all made up, he's anti-Semitic, I don't know if he hates Jews. He might not. But if you hang out with Hamas, just because you're used to left-wing people or parts of the Corbynista left, suggesting there's nothing wrong with that, if you get held up to public scrutiny as a result of it because you become a prominent political figure, you've got to accept that you've been hanging out with massive anti-Semites and calling them your friends. So that's what he's accused of. If they were Nazis and he'd call them his friends, there's no way people on the left who are defending Hamas or who are defending his decision to call them his friends would be okay with it. These are the same people who constantly try to no-platform everyone else for being far right, for being extremists, for supposedly caring about racist language and so on, but they're completely okay with their leader, who they're campaigning for, calling a group who puts out videos like that, telling kids to stab Jews, their friends. So that's one example. Another example of something he's done. Oh, so actually, we should look at... So at the time when he met them and called them his friends, that they had a covenant, the Hamas Charter. It's since been updated. But anyway, that charter is literally... It's been described as like reading parts of Mein Kampf. I'm going to try and find some of the charter to show you. So here is the charter itself, and in the charter it quotes the hadith, which says, "The day of judgment will not come until Muslims fight Jews and kill them. Then the Jews will hide behind rocks and trees, and the rocks and trees will cry out, 'Oh Muslim, there is a Jew hiding behind me, come and kill him.'" So that's in Hamas charter. That was in the charter when Jeremy Corbyn, anti-racist, called them his friends. So you can make up your own mind about that. Another thing he did is he called a guy called Raed Salah his... I can't remember exactly what he called him, but he gave him a hug and repeatedly spoke in support of him, or not in a critical way about this guy, Raed Salah. So what has Raed Salah done? So here's a video of him talking about Raed Salah.
We make it clear, and you can read it in the Secretary of State. And who I spent some time...
So, okay, so actually, before I show you this video, to give you some background, Raed Salah, I'm going to find you a bit of a poem he wrote about Jews in which he described... so this is what he said. What's this thing? So, he wrote a poem in which he described Jews as criminal bombers of mosques, slaughterers of pregnant women and babies, robbers, and germ in all time. So he's referring to Jews as germs. He also promoted martyrdom, and he invoked the blood libel by saying that blood had been mixed in the dough of holy bread, i.e. he's saying that Jews drink the blood of other people. I think of children, he was saying. But I'll need to look into that. He references the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which is a well-known, unbelievably anti-Semitic document, which pretty much all anti-Semites around the world love, and a number of other things. So he was listed, I think, as an extremist by the UK government. Jeremy Corbyn met with him, was really unclear about when he'd met with him and in what way. And this is a video of him talking about Raed Salah. So this is the guy who says that Jews are germs.
A man who I spent some time with whilst he's been under very strict conditions, having to remain in his own home. I prefer to call it house arrest, because that is in effect what it was. And I hereby renew my invitation to Sheikh Salah to come to Parliament, meet with me, meet with my colleagues, and you will be assured a very warm welcome, and I look forward to giving you tea on the terrace, because you deserve it.
Okay, so that's Jeremy Corbyn talking about the guy who says Jews are germs and drinks the blood of people in their bread. So yeah, you can make your mind up on that as well. He has also lied and got caught out lying about going to a ceremony to honour the terrorists who killed Jewish or Israeli Jewish athletes at the Olympics. So they killed a number of Jewish athletes in the most brutal way ever, including torturing them before they killed some of them. Like, it's disgusting. Jeremy Corbyn tried to cover up the fact and then lied about the fact that he not only went to Tunisia, but he went and, I think it was Tunisia, but he lay a wreath to the people who had killed those athletes. This is a picture of him doing it, which he said he hadn't done. So again, he didn't come out and say, "Yo, yeah, I did that." He tried to say he hadn't done it, and then he said he was present but not involved and stuff. And this again, he's talking about murderers of Jewish people. So yeah, that's another example of something you can make your mind up. You might have seen the image of the mural which kind of kick-started this whole thing. It's an anti-Semitic mural of a bunch of hook-nosed people sitting on top of slaves and playing, I think it's like some sort of board game. in other words, with like the Illuminati symbol and stuff behind them, basically suggesting Jews run the world and exploit everyone. And there are a bunch of other things like that. I'm also going to show you a clip which I saw on TV of him getting asked by Andrew Neil, who is a good interview on the BBC, whether something is anti-Semitic, and in my opinion giving a very weird response. So here is a video of... Right, so here is a video of Jeremy Corbyn being asked whether something's anti-Semitic and not, in my opinion, quickly enough just saying, yes, that is anti-Semitic. So listen to this.
Let me ask you this. Is it anti-Semitic to say Rothschild Zionists run Israel and world governments?
In the Chakrabarti report, we asked that people did not use comparisons about conspiracies, not use
Is that anti-Semitic?
Because in the belief of Shami, and I support her on this, in that report, that can be constructed as being an anti-Semitic statement.
Right, but let's just get it clear.
And therefore should
I asked you...
Okay, so he's saying it can be constructed as an anti-Semitic statement, and it looks like he really doesn't like saying that even, because I reckon he sort of secretly thinks that. But this is one area where I don't want to impose what I think he might think on him, because you need stronger evidence than that to say that he personally is an anti-Semite. But anyway, that's just a weird response. Like, if you asked him a question which was that racist about any other race, and asked him whether it was racist or not, I don't think he'd say, that can be interpreted as racist. He'd just say, that is racist. And also, he's always leading the charge to get other people called out as racist. He's really happy to call out the far right as racist, which is good. The far right can be racist. But he's much less willing to discuss Islamist anti-Semitism, and he's been too involved with it. So yeah, that's just a few examples, because I haven't actually seen a good compilation video of various different instances of Jeremy Corbyn being too anti-Semitic, or too sympathetic to massive anti-Semite lunatics like the examples I've just shown you. So yeah, that's it. Also, I am Jewish, just full disclosure, although I'm an atheist, but yeah, I'm Jewish, so if that, I don't know why that'd be any relevance at all, but yeah, anyway. Alright, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Thanks. Oh, and I'm a podcast. Listen to the podcast, E2 Review.